my little Draconic I hope that you're all doing well. If you guys like what you see and hear, please like, subscribe, and turn on that bell to get notified. And if you guys want to send me your own horror stories, my email will be in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. To preface, I am a 24-year-old female currently living in North Carolina, but mainly split birth my year birth, 13, moving back and forth from West Virginia, where my dad's family is from, to Ohio, where my mother fam my mother's family is from. That also require this also requires some backstory. Now, typically, you'd assume that living in Appalachia is where this all began, but oddly enough, I had experienced what I could only call supernatural experiences as far back as I can remember, even starting in Ohio. I began to speak very clearly and early in life. By 2, I was able to hold almost a complete conversation due to the fact that my parents never baby talked with me. Because of this, I began to ask questions, some annoying little kid questions, but some my parents had no real answer for. What in the hell? Okay, so you're currently living in North Carolina, but you went back and forth from West Virginia to visit your dad's family and Ohio to see your mom's, okay? I mean, and with Appalachia, there's a whole shit of horror stories from what I heard from over the years. That, oh my god, Appalachia is just weird. But damn, holding full conversations by the age of 2, like shit. I mean, that is pretty young, but then again, when your parents aren't baby talking to you and like talking to you like a full grown ass adult, that makes a whole world of difference, honestly. And as for like the annoying little kid questions, that's like normal though. Like, what toddler isn't asking like annoying, stupid, childish questions though? Let's be real. And I wonder, like, for like the questions your parents didn't have answers. Like, I want to know, like, why or like what caused you to ask these questions. Anyways, I would ask, why can't I use a big girl cup? In the same sentence, I would ask, why is there a blue ball in the corner of my room at night? Most of the time, my parents shrugged it off by saying, you were just in a dream, and at that age, I would push further. Why would why would you push further? Like, with like, Mom, Dad, why is there a blue ball in the corner of my room? It's like, and their parents were like, you're just dreaming. Go back to sleep. Which makes sense, honestly. When I was 3 or 4, we moved into a 2-story townhouse in Hawaii. Oh my god, Ohio. Why can I not say words right now? And I've been doing this not quite a year. No, not a year yet. I want to say several months. I'll have to go through my history to see how long I've been doing this now for, which I know isn't long anyways. I wasn't typically a kid who was scared of the dark, but in that house, I began to demand that my father would read to me or stay in my room until I fell asleep. And that's normal, honestly. Unless it's like not normal, then it might be concerning that you might, or the parents might need to seek out professional help. But yeah, if you notice that your kid is doing something weird, listen to them, seek professional help, ask questions on why that shit is happening. Don't just ignore it. It's like, oh, it's just a phase, it'll go away, yada yada yada. I don't have kids of my own yet, but I've heard stories of where parents ignore their kids and something tragic happens to said kid. So, don't ignore kids. Please. For a while, this seemed to work, but my parents did not want me to get in the habit of needing an adult in the room just to fall asleep, so they bought me a nightlight. Oh, okay. I mean, a nightlight could help. Well, yes, the nightlight helped. I was still terrified. Not of my room, but the hallway that I would see from my bunk bed. You have a bunk bed? Or is it like a loft bed? Because I had a loft bed, and I loved my loft bed. My bed was pushed up against the back wall with a window at the head of my bed. On the wall directly across was my double closet with double sliding doors. Ooh, excuse me. Don't know why I'm burping so much. The rest of my room held my small foldable chair bed that I'm sure anyone born in the early 2000s had along with other things and toys. I mean, probably. Because, 2000s was a trip, honestly. What I saw on a nightly basis after my parents had gone to bed was a full woman, seemingly soaked with water, pacing the hall while absolutely sobbing her eyes out. Why does this sound like El Llorona or La Llorona? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's La Llorona, but I thought she was mostly in Mexico. I could be wrong that she could like travel from place to place. I don't know. She never spoke or even looked up at me, but at a very young age, I knew this wasn't right. Who was she? Did my parents let her in? She was crying so loudly. How wasn't this waking my parents up? These questions plagued me every night, and I asked my parents about it and got the same response, that it was just a nightmare. I mean, yeah, that'll be parents' go-to answer. It's like, oh, it was just a nightmare. Don't worry about it. In my parents' room, there was an old vanity with a mirror my mother kept covered up with a cloth. Really? I mean, in to my understanding, in some cultures, when someone passes away, they put a sheet or some kind of cloth over it to prevent the soul from being trapped inside the mirror so that the person can properly move on into their respective afterlife. I eventually determined that the closer I got to it, the scared I was, but because of this is where she hid candy and gum. The day while she was asleep, I decided to try and steal a piece of gum. I went upstairs to her room, and while looking around the vanity, I swear to God, I saw the woman who roamed the halls at night sitting in the mirror looking at me. Oh, hell no. Hell no. I would turn my ass around and just walk away. Oh, fuck that. I would be running. Nuh-uh. I screamed and started crying, alerting my mother, who quickly ran into the room and threw a blanket, now fully covering the mirror, and promptly explained to never go into her room alone. My God, why? What is up with the vanity mirror, man? That's what I want to know. The rest of the time at that house was a blur. I remember visiting my grandparents much more with my mom, who was just trying to get out of that house until we were ready to move. I don't blame you, honestly. When I was 6, we moved back to West Virginia for the second time. We lived in a house 2 houses down from where my grandparents lived, and despite still seeing random auras and apparitions, which I had become somewhat accustomed to, not much happened. That is until we moved into the house directly next to my grandparents. Oh dear Lord. What the hell is gonna happen? That house was built in the 30s, and it showed from the super thin glass to the no central air or heat. Oh God, I would die if there was no central air or heat, man. But I guess that's how things were back in the day, though. Beyond that, the people who lived there before us weren't just certified hoarders, but left some very curious renovations. I wonder what the renovations were. The house was built into the side of a steep hill. Okay, okay. Like, how big was this hill, or how steep was it? It once had a back porch, but 4 plaster walls had been constructed around it, making it a laundry room. There was no insulation, and the floor was so sensitive you had to walk a very certain path to ensure the wood would just give out. So what you're saying is this house needs a lot of fucking work. Got it. With this, they enclosed the exterior window, making a window from my room look directly into the makeshift laundry room. Oh, that's fun. That is so fun. Oh God. Where was I? What the fuck? Interesting things were found throughout the house. A boarded up fireplace, padlocks on the outside of a bedroom doors, light switches far too high for any child to reach, and the crawl space. What? What? What in the actual hell? This is like a wild ass story. The crawl space was the worst. To get to it, you had to go around the back of the house before moving in. My father took a crowbar to the padlock on the old wooden half door. Oh God, what is in there? That's what I want to know. There was no floor besides dirt, and it smelled of mildew. Fair. I feel like you're thinking, well, that's what a crawl space is, and you'd be correct. It was what was found inside that was the last straw for my parents to end up calling the cops on the previous tenants. Oh God. Like, did you find bodies under, like, in the crawl space? The past owners had a lot of kids, more kids they could handle. The 6 kids, 2 parents, and a grandparent living in a 2-bedroom hoarder house. Yeah, six kids? Oh hell no, that is way too many kids, man. Like, I have nothing against big families, but well, maybe I do got something against big families, but you know what? Maybe it's because I only grew up with 2 other brothers. But one brother was back and forth with my mom and his dad, so eh. Apparently they thought it a great idea to make this crawl space a bedroom for their youngest boy. Really? No. When we opened it, we found a bare mattress, a small desk, a few toys, crayons, and just sad drawings. Again, I like to reiterate West Virginia temperatures below freezing in the winter, dirt floor, and wasn't flat but on a slope, no power, and they had a 6-year-old boy living, mostly likely locked in. Oh no, no! As soon as my parents realized what they were looking at, they had me go play at my grandparents' house until the cops came to document this. Oh God. Once we finally got the house livable, we moved in. The layout was odd. Oh, I'm sure the layout was odd once you got it all livable and whatnot. As soon as you walked in, to the left was my parents' bedroom, which had a closet which at some point was made into the smallest bedroom ever. Like, how small are we talking about? Like, I don't know, 4 feet by 6 feet? Or like smaller, like, what? To the right was the dining room, and if you walked past the dining room, there was a small room we used as an office because it was at some point a sunroom turned into an entrail room. Okay. Back in the dining room, if you kept going, you find the living room and then the kitchen. To the left of the kitchen was an odd walking pantry that led to the aforementioned makeshift laundry room. Back out to the living room, if you turn left, you'd find a crossroads with a bathroom on the right and my bedroom on the left. What the fuck? At that point, I would have just remodeled the whole damn inside of that house and just made it more like a home that made more sense to it. But I don't know how expensive that is. Welcome to my room. To the left was a light switch, too tall for me to reach, mind you. No other light switches were like this. A bookshelf and my closet. To the right was my bed, shoved in a corner against the wall that had the exterior window that actually looked into the laundry room. Past my bedroom was an open walkway into my playroom. Okay. Okay. Like, this house sounds like a hot mess, anyways. Immediately after moving in, I began to have actual nightmares. Once where I was being stalked or chased. It wasn't long after that I began going to church with my grandmother. She devoutly Southern Baptist, and living in that area, church was really one of the only activities available. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, depending on where you are, there may not be a whole lot of things to do. Some part of me hoped that reading the Bible and praying would make it go away, but it didn't. I mean, it could, it couldn't. Anyways, every night I would say my prayers, say hymns, and read my Bible. I even slept with rosaries my Catholic grandmother gave me, but it didn't stop him. My God, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on, man? Like clockwork, the knob of my closet would slowly fall out. What? No, no. It was solid metal, so it would make a loud clunking noise as it hit the carpet. I would lay there completely still, yet having my eyes fixed on the door. The door, which was hard to open considering the carpet in front of it was over its threshold, would open. No, no, God, no. Inside would be a boy. I vividly remembered him. His head was too large for his body. Oh my God. His hair was short yet had greasy black bangs. In fact, every part of him looked greasy. He stayed huddled in a ball but turned to look at me and oh God, those eyes. Eyes twice or triple the size they would be, and while every part of him was black, his eyes were almost a blinding white. So a white-eyed child? I don't know if there's such a thing, but I guess. His facial expression wasn't in malice, but almost a cry for help. I remember being so terrified I couldn't move. Yeah, I don't blame you. This was no nightmare or sleep paralysis, though. Multiple times I would sit up trying to examine him further or get the courage to run out of my room. I would beg in tears not to sleep in my room. I had told my mother about it so many times, she was actually becoming concerned, either for my mental health or that I was somehow right. Could it be both somehow? I don't know. I mean, that's what I want to know. Could it be, like, be the fact that it could be your mental health or you were somehow right? And somehow right? Like, I don't know. One night, I was allowed to stay at my grandparents' house, and my mother slept in my room, and she saw it. She saw him. Besides myself, my parents were not religious but spiritual. She had encountered him. She contacted my godparents, who came along with their priest to bless the room and house. I would have done that ages ago. Honestly, after that, things just got worse. Physical things started to happen, like books falling off the shelves and me waking up with bruises and scratches. Oh no. Oh no. Burn the house. Just burn the house. We couldn't take it anymore. Finally, it was bad enough that we all moved in with my grandparents in Ohio until we could find an apartment. Years later, my mother admitted to me that she was and felt everything too. She just never wanted to admit it and scare me. I mean, that's good. I mean, for you moving out and into your grandparents who live in Ohio, so y'all could find an apartment, and for your mom putting on a brave face to not scare you when you were so young. Once I got away from it, it doesn't torment me like it used to. I can sleep well and have not needed a special nighttime new routine since moving out, but sometimes, I swear, if I'm back in West Virginia, I could feel him right inside the closet door to this day. Oh my God, you poor little thing. You poor thing. I am sorry.